गुड मॉर्निंग फ्रेंड्स। मैं आपको इनवाइट करता हूं कि ऑनलाइन रिकॉर्डिंग सुनने के लिए। ये रिकॉर्डिंग एक वेबिनार की है जो इंडियन मेनोपॉज सोसाइटी ने ऑर्गेनाइज किया था, और इस वेबिनार में मैंने लेक्चर लिया है डाइट ऊपर, और डाइट के विभिन्न विभिन्न पहलुओं की मैंने बात की है। प्रोटीन्स के बारे में बात की है, फैट्स के बारे में बात की है, ब्रेकफास्ट के बारे में बात की है, मिलेट्स के बारे में बातें की है। ज़्यादातर जो कॉमन हमारे जो पॉइंट्स होते हैं, जिसको हम डाइट के बारे में हमारे प्रश्न होते हैं, उसको मैंने आंसर करने की कोशिश की है। वेबिनार काफ़ी सक्सेसफुल था, 100 से ज़्यादा ऑनलाइन अटेंडेंस थी, काफ़ी लोगों ने प्रश्न भी पूछे हैं। मैं आशा करता हूं कि इस वेबिनार से आपको भी फायदा होगा और आपके खान पान के रिलेटेड काफ़ी प्रश्नों का उत्तर मिल जाएगा। थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स।
Yeah. Good morning and namaskar. Welcome everybody to the Indian Menopause Society Wellness Weekend Series. We have been always talking about holistic health, and we believe that it is not just prescribing medicines, but overall lifestyle which we need to have an impact to have a healthy and happy life. और हम बात करने वाले हैं आज फूड की। एंड वाई सो मच स्ट्रेस ऑन न्यूट्रिशन? बिकॉज वी आर व्हाट वी ईट। हम जो खाते हैं वही बन जाते हैं। और सच में बताऊं तो खाने के बारे में ही कितना सारा कंफ्यूजन है, राइट? गेहूं खाएं या चावल खाएं या मिलेट्स खाएं, देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ कंफ्यूजन। प्रोटीन ले तो कौन सा प्रोटीन, कितना प्रोटीन? खास करके वेजिटेरियन लोगों को तो बहुत दिक्कत है कि कितनी मात्रा में प्रोटीन लेना चाहिए, एंड हाउ वुड दैट प्रोटीन रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ द डे सफाइस विद द इनटेक विच दे आर टेकिंग। काफी बार देर आर पर्सनल चॉइसेस, कई बार हमें ये पसंद आता है, नहीं पसंद आता है, कई बार टेस्ट टेक्स अ प्रायोरिटी ओवर हेल्थ, एंड कई बार देर आर कल्चरल इनहिबिशंस या यू कैन से सर्टेन कुजीन्स ऑफ दैट रीजन जो हमारी चॉइस को इम्पैक्ट करते हैं। और खास करके फेस्टिवल्स जब आते हैं तो डेफिनेटली हमारी चॉइस हेवायर हो जाती है, राइट? उसके बाद काफी सारा कंफ्यूजन है रिगार्डिंग द फैट डाइट्स कि इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग करें ना करें, कीटो डाइट करें क्या करें, राइट? एंड प्लस रिगार्डिंग फैट्स, कई बार ऐसा होता है कि बिल्कुल ऑयल बिल्कुल घी नहीं लेना चाहिए, कभी कुछ लोग बोलते हैं घी लेना चाहिए। So we are all having a lot of confusion, and today to lead us to clarity we have a wonderful person, so we'll be hearing from the horse's mouth. इससे ज्यादा हमें कौन अच्छा बता सकता है? अ गैस्ट्रोएंट्रोलॉजिस्ट, राइट? सो गैस्ट्रोएंट्रोलॉजिस्ट हु डील्स विद द प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ इंटेस्टाइन, वही हमें बताने वाले हैं कि हमें हमारे इंटेस्टाइन में क्या डालना है। सो वी आर रियली प्रिविलेज्ड टू हैव डॉक्टर आशीष शेट्टी विद अस। So welcome Dr. Ashish sir. And today to begin, I would request our President Madam Dr. Anita Shah ma'am, who has joined from Raipur, to give the presidential address. Welcome Dr. Anita ma'am.
Yeah. Hello. Very good morning to all of you, and thank you Binal for very lovely coordination as usual. And you very rightly told कि अभी दिवाली गई तो सब लोगों ने बहुत कुछ खा पिया लिया होगा, नहीं सोचते हुए कि हमको ये नहीं खाना है, फिर भी to satisfy certain relatives or friends, everyone must have enjoyed everything. And now this is the right time that we have to again come back to our original diet control. And that's why what you have invited Dr. Sethi sir, he is the best person to guide us. And I don't want to waste much time. You have narrated all the things, so let us enjoy. Dr. Sethi, I would like to say that your neighbor Mihir from Baroda, just now he is at Chennai. He is also listening to your talk because he is my relative, and he told that Dr. Sethi was our neighbor when they were staying at Baroda. Mihir Buch.
Okay.
If Sethi sir remember.
I remember.
Yeah.
Mir I know.
Right.
Yeah, thank you, Anita ji.
Okay, thank you, Anita ma'am.
Yeah.
Now I would request our esteemed guest for today, Dr. Sonima Venugopal. She is the Assistant Professor from the Food and Nutrition Department, MS University, Vadodara. So welcome, Sonima ma'am, and I would like to have the opening remarks from you because you are a person who deals in food and nutrition, and you people have done a lot of research regarding this aspect. So welcome, Dr. Sonima ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It gives me great pleasure to be a part of this webinar series. And the topic that we have chosen today, smart nutrition and superfoods demystified. It's so apt, right? Like Anita ma'am just mentioned, right after the festive season, we are all trying to get back to those healthier lifestyles. So, and it's very difficult because cravings have been satisfied and now we have to get back to that normal, regular lifestyle. So when we talk about smart nutrition, it's about previously also I've mentioned that it's all about making smart choices, informed choices, smart choices. And because we are all looking for quick fixes, simple, easier methods to get into a regular, healthier diet. So it's all about making those regular on a daily basis, making informed choices, the correct choice. It could be anything, like say choosing a lot of fruits and vegetables in your diet, whole grains in your diet. We'll be talking about it. Sir will be talking about it in his session. Or let's say choosing what kind of proteins you want to include, balancing between proteins from an animal source or plant source or dairy protein, or what kind of fats to include in our diet, so that we all talk about omega 3s and omega 6s, but which fat to include so that you get the right proportion. Hydration, staying hydrated, keeping away from the sugary drinks, the processed foods, a lot of salty snacks, eating mindfully, or say things like planning your meals in advance so that you eat a balanced diet. All that comes under smart nutrition. And when you talk about superfoods, so we tend to look up to the West, and a lot of the imported stuff we think of as superfoods, but we have a lot of superfoods in our own traditional diets too. And what is more important to understand is that no single food can actually meet all the requirements or all our nutrient requirements, and that the variety is the key, variety and moderation. So the superfoods that sir will obviously be talking about, including those, maybe one in our diet. Variety, moderation, that is the key. So that entire thing, again, just to reiterate, making those smart choices, informed choices, which are sustainable, which we can carry on for a longer period of time. That is what is the key.
Thank you, Dr. Pradeep, also for joining. He is also at Baroda, Ashish Bhai, and he has also joined from them. He is our endocrinologist and secretary of Surat Menopause Society, and he is also a very good advisor for diet. So, comment from you, Pradeep.
Yeah. We would welcome endocrinologist Dr. Pradeep Dalwadi to give his remarks. Thank you, Venugopal ma'am.
Thank you so
It's
much.
very important. Being an endocrinologist, I deal with all chronic diseases. So I always tell my patient, let the lifestyle become your medicine rather than medicine becoming your lifestyle. And lifestyle means diet and exercise. They play a pivotal role in the management of any chronic diseases. Not only diseases, to maintain a good healthy life, you need to focus on lifestyle. So I think the topic is rightly chosen at right point of time. And I think it will throw a lot of insight about diet in routine. So I hand over a session to Dr. Beenal and Dr. Ashish for the
Sure.
process.
Thank you, Dr. Pradeep sir. And we would request Dr. Pradeep sir and Dr. Venugopal ma'am to stay throughout the session. And in the end, we'll have some interaction. I welcome Bhagalpur Society, Dr. Pratibha ma'am and team, and Kolkata Society, Dr. Nirmala Papara ma'am and team. Ma'am, there is a chat box, and I would request the audience to please put your questions in the chat box. At the end of the session, we would like to have interaction, and I would request Dr. Nirmala ma'am and Pratibha ma'am to lead the interaction. And today's topic, dear friends, thank you, Pradeep sir. Today's topic is smart nutrition and superfoods demystified. So we are sharing with you a bite-sized secrets. And for this, I have the privilege of introducing Dr. Ashish Shetty. He is a close friend and a senior and a throughout gold medalist. He has done his DM gastroenterology from PG MI Chandigarh, and he is a wonderful academician. At the same time, he has gone beyond prescriptions. He's the founder of Rogtham Center. And yes, dear friends, this is the time when there is a paradigm shift in the field of medicine, from the palliative to the curative to now the preventive. And Rogtham is a center for preventive medicine and treatment of lifestyle diseases. So I congratulate you, Ashish sir, because this is your contribution to the society, spreading the right message. It will go much beyond your prescriptions. And dear friends, he is not only, he he walks what he talks. So yes, Dr. Ashish has been an achiever, and I must say he's been a big loser as well. And he has lost his body weight, and by his healthy lifestyle changes, and almost 30% of his body weight. So we remember, we have seen him in the college times, and from then we can say that he is much more healthier and fitter. And finally, one more feather to his cap is that he is the Iron Man also. So yes, so welcome, Dr. Ashish sir. Everybody is eager to have the bite-sized secrets from you. Over to Dr. Ashish Shetty.
Am I properly audible?
Yes, you're audible, not visible. Have you joined
I'm
from
visible.
keyboard?
Yes,
I'm visible on
sir.
other screen. Visible on
Other
other screen. You can
from the other laptop.
Yeah.
I'm showing.
yeah, because I have to this. I don't know why this
Yes.
was not working.
Okay,
So
they,
good
from
morning,
here.
everybody.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. I thank you all for your patience and joining early morning on Sunday. Let me make your Sunday morning a very fruitful one. Maybe you will take home some messages and then implement those messages. And मैं हिंदी और गुजराती और इंग्लिश सब में मिक्स बात करूंगा so that the audience may have some of normal people rather than doctors also. तो हम लोग मिक्स बात करेंगे. We'll start off with I have this रोकथाम सेंटर है जहाँ I start to use lifestyle changes with the help
Can
of
we
my
have
dietitian.
full screen, Ashish sir?
This is not full screen.
No.
No, sir.
Okay, on my screen it is full screen. Just a second. Okay, just a second. I'm seeing full screen here. You're not seeing?
Again, you can, sir, close the PPT and again reshare, sir.
I mean, you can
Okay.
close, stop share, and then reshare. Before sharing, you can open it in your.
Okay, now I'll closing this, and I'm trying to reshare.
And dear friends, you know, Dr. Ashish will be able to speak with so much conviction because this is something which he has himself practiced. So he has, you know, himself practiced this, suggestions which he is going to give. So it's not only preaching, but actually implementing those things in life. So he will be a person who will be able to tell us, मतलब बहुत अच्छी तरह से ये हमें बता पाएंगे बिकॉज ये सारी चीजें उन्होंने खुद अपनी लाइफस्टाइल में इनकॉर्पोरेट की हुई हैं.
Is it the now full screen or not?
Not yet. If you want, you can
Okay,
even,
sure.
you know, mail or WhatsApp your PPT to Vipin.
Yes, sir.
And from there they can
Sorry.
share in case if you want that.
No, I'll do that. That is a better option.
Yeah. You have Mr. Vipin's mobile number.
So downside there is an option, sir. You can click on that same.
Meanwhile, if we have people from Kolkata and Bhagalpur, I invite you for just opening remarks by the time this technical glitch is being taken care of. Dr. Pratibha ma'am and Dr. Nirmala ma'am, if you are there, you can just give your comments. Meanwhile, Dr. Ashish is fixing his PPT.
Nirmala Pipara was there, Binal.
I'll just stop sharing and share it again. Entire screen. Now is it visible? Full screen?
Just click. Yes, sir. Click on this.
Okay.
Wait, sir. Now it's full screen, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect,
Okay.
Ashish sir. Good to go.
Now we'll go on to this journey of mine, which I started around 12-13 years back when I used to be 100 plus kilos, and now I'm 70 or so. So this whole concept of lifestyle changes and treatment of diseases came from this my journey, and during this journey I've learned a lot. and that I would like to share with you, and hopefully all of you will be able to implement. So my aim was to start with some questions rather than going a diffuse lecture on nutrition. So I'll be starting with some questions and answers which are already presented. So what is food? So food basically is a source of anabolism, where we build the body. It's a source of energy, where the body uses that food, and that food is converted to ATP inside the body, and that ATP is used for energy, and then we help use food to protect ourselves from diseases, where immunoprotection is another important part of it. Now, but also food is a very important cause of social bonding. We usually meet over food and drinks, and food is an important source of pleasure. And here the problem arises. Food causes dopamine release in the brain, particularly some types of food which we like, and that has become a source of pleasure. Answering my first question, I'll just give you some background, because this background is very important for all the questions we are going to take up here. तो background ये है कि carbohydrate सबसे important part है हमारी diet का, what we call as a micronutrient. और carbohydrate कई प्रकार के होते हैं, monosaccharides जिसमें ग्लूकोज होता है, फ्रुक्टोज होता है, गैलेक्टोज होता है, डाइसैकेराइड्स जिसमें डेक्सट्रोज, सुक्रोज और लैक्टोज, ये सब मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं कार्बोहाइड्रेट के. Just a background is there so that some people may or may not know this, but just listen. Some in the future slides you will be able to understand the importance of all this. And we have polysaccharides, where it is basically starch. We don't consider cellulose because we cannot absorb cellulose. So for us, polysaccharides is starch, which basically is amylose and amylopectin. तो ये कार्बोहाइड्रेट के डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स हैं विच वी इंजेस्ट, जो हम खाते हैं. सो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन फॉर मी जो है वो मिलेट्स खाना चाहिए कि व्हीट खाना चाहिए कि राइस खाना चाहिए. अब क्यों खाना चाहिए इसका हम आंसर सोचते हैं. अब कार्बोहाइड्रेट जब हम खाते हैं, विच इज वेरियस मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ ग्लूकोज बाउंड इन विद केमिकल केमिस्ट्री, एंड the amylase जो होती है एंजाइम हमारी बॉडी में, either in the saliva or the stomach or the pancreas, they start digesting this food which we have eaten, the carbohydrate which we have eaten. और उस मॉलिक्यूल से ग्लूकोज रिलीज होता है, और ग्लूकोज पोर्टल वेन के अंदर जाता है. पोर्टल वेन इज द ब्लड vein which is drains the intestines to the liver. So just imagine the God as nature has designed that the glucose will enter directly the portal vein and not the systemic circulation. So portal vein से ये blood which contains glucose goes to the liver through the pancreas, and pancreas on seeing this glucose coming inside the portal vein releases insulin. And insulin क्या करता है? Insulin इस glucose को body के various cells के अंदर डाल देता है. Importantly muscle cells और fat cells. अगर cells के अंदर जाने के बाद glucose is used as an energy source or is stored as fat. So remember these two sentences. Glucose inside the cells is either used as an energy source or stored as fat. Why so? Because glucose is toxic. If glucose remains in the blood, it binds to proteins. उसको हम glycation कहते हैं, Maillard reaction भी कहते हैं, और those proteins become non-functioning. So glucose should not remain in the blood. High glucose should not be there in the blood, because that glucose will be toxic to various tissues. Now I'm seeing screen again is seeing.
I bet so. Yes.
Okay.
Now
Is that
it's
right?
working.
Okay.
Fine, sir.
Okay. So we are on this. Glucose is toxic. I'm sorry for the glitches. Now that what happens when this glucose is toxic? So we have to release insulin so that ये glucose cells के अंदर चला जाए. So glucose का fate cells के अंदर क्या decide करता है? What happens to glucose? Whether it is used as energy or it is used as stored as fat, insulin level decides. If the body insulin is high, then glucose is stored as fat. Just remember this, huh? When the body insulin level is low, the glucose is burned for energy. And third important thing, activity level. अब जब activity high होती है, body is doing exercise or walking around or working, the glucose enters the cells without insulin. Without insulin, the glucose can enter the cells and is used for energy. So here the concept of glycemic index and glycemic load comes. The degree of rise of glucose with various substances is either known as glycemic index and or load. I won't go into these details. अगर आपका ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स और लोड किसी फूड का ज्यादा होता है, उसका मतलब हो जाता है जब ब्लड में ग्लूकोज ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है, there is a rapid rise of glucose and so a rapid rise of insulin. This rapid rise of glucose is a concern because the more the rapid the rise of glucose, the more the rise of insulin. और जितना इंसुलिन बढ़ता है, there is a risk of insulin resistance. We'll come to that. Because the rise of glucose is more, this glucose is going to be toxic. A rapid rise of glucose promotes storage of this glucose as fat instead of being used as energy. And this rapid rise of glucose is usually followed by rapid falls. So hunger pangs hote hain. So this anything which has a high glycemic load and a high glycemic index is harmful to the body because of these problems. More insulin secretion, toxic glucose, storing of fat, and hunger pangs. So what we need here are foods which have a lower glycemic index and a lower glycemic load. So the millets like bajra, jowar, kodu, kodri, ragi, whatever the millets may be used in different parts of the country, their glycemic index is in the 50s as compared to rice and wheat which are in the 70s. Why is it so? Because these millets have more fiber which delay the absorption of or slow down the absorption of glucose. They have more amylose, and we discussed that there are two forms of starches, amylose and amylopectins. Amylopectin is more easily absorbed. Amylose takes a longer time to be absorbed. These millets have anti-amylase phytochemicals. So these have chemicals which inhibit the action of amylases, and when the action of amylase is inhibited, the glucose absorption is slowed. The cell wall of these millets is coarse. These millets are coarse and their cell wall remains intact because they are not grinded like wheat. So sometimes they're difficult to break down, so their absorption becomes slow and they are larger in size. So these are the reasons where millets score over wheat and rice by decreasing the amount of glucose absorption and having a lower glycemic index. And when we have a lower glycemic index, we have less insulin secretion, we have less glucose in the blood, we have more fat, so we have less fat storage, and we have less hunger pangs. In addition, the fiber in these millets promotes short chain fatty acids, SCFA. Very important. This fiber is digested by the what we call as a soluble fiber part. I won't go into again so much details. The fiber is of two types. Either it can be soluble or insoluble. The soluble fiber is digested by the bacteria present in our gut, जिसको हम माइक्रोबायम कहते हैं. हमारे इंटेस्टाइन्स में बैक्टीरिया होते हैं. और जो नॉन सॉल्युबल फाइबर होता है वो स्टूल फॉर्मेशन में लैट्रिन में हेल्प करता है. जो सॉल्युबल फाइबर है वो अपने बैक्टीरिया डाइजेस्ट करते हैं और उसमें से 3 केमिकल्स बनाते हैं जिसको हम शॉर्ट चेन फैटी एसिड्स कहते हैं, SCFA, प्रोपियोनेट, बुट्रियाइड और एसीटेट. और ये क्या करते हैं, दिस SCFA वेरी इंपॉर्टेंटली दे रिलीज ओजेम्पिक इनसाइड द बॉडी. ओजेम्पिक या वेगोवी जिसको हम GLP-1 एनालॉग्स कहते हैं, जो हम ड्रग्स जो आजकल आई हैं फॉर ओबेसिटी कंट्रोल. So this fiber is an endogenous secretor of GLP-1 and peptide YY, and this causes satiety. So you know what is the importance of soluble fiber which is present in these millets for producing satiety. Secondly, these millets have more and better vitamin, mineral and protein profile. So that's the answer of the first question. I have to again disclose this program. So any questions on this, because this is going to take time in between. Any questions on this millets? Anyone? So I can start the questions before I proceed to the next part of the talk. Any questions on millets? Okay, now I'm
Sir, I'd like to know how long you're supposed to soak the millets before we cook them.
There is the only issue is that these millets sometimes have anti-nutrients, what we call as phytates. So sometimes it all depends on individual preferences. If some people find it hard to digest millets, then you can soak it for a longer time. There is no harm in soaking for 12 hours, 2 hours, all individual. So there is no hard and fast rule. Then when do you stop? How much time you should soak the millets? The soaking of the millets is just to take care of the anti-nutrients. These anti-nutrients are absorbed in the water, or then that water can be discarded. So if some patients or some person finds it difficult to digest those millets, then we can soak them for a pretty longer time. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible. Slide is not coming.
Slide is not visible.
Yes, now it's coming. Again.
Okay, it's gone away.
Yes, sir. Not.
So regarding soakage, I also had a doubt like pulses, kala chana or chole, rajma. When we soak them, should the water be discarded?
In those people who cannot digest, so what has happened that many of these proteins, they contain anti-nutrients and phytates, to be very like there are pectins, there are lignins, there are phytates. So when some people who have gas after eating this sort of new substances which are not consuming properly, so in those cases you can soak them, and that will help in taking care of the undigested portion or the anti-nutrient portion, so the person can be able to digest this properly. So in my patients, I tell them, if you have problem in digesting millets, or a problem in digesting proteins or pulses, or this lentils, what we call them, then you can soak them overnight also and discard the water.
Okay, because some people say that water contains proteins because we have already washed them.
I know, water won't
will
contain proteins. No, there will be some loss of some nutrients, but for people who are not able to digest, then it's better. Okay, so I think this is the taken care of the millets issue. So first answer is, question is increase the millet intake and decrease the wheat and rice intake. The problem with wheat is the wheat in the last 50 years has been genetically modified. We used to have Acheron wheat, now we have dwarf and mini dwarf wheat. इस wheat में fiber कम होता है, starch ज़्यादा होता है, और इसका flour is now grounded very fine. And important is gluten leads to immune reactions and inflammation. So my advice to all my colleagues and patients is always that try to switch to a more millet diet rather than a wheat or rice based diet. Okay. Now we go to question number 2. Breakfast ideas. Breakfast is considered to be one of the most important meal of the day. It is the breaking of the fast. You have been fasting for 10 hours, 12 hours. So let me give you some background. Morning time में क्या होता है कि there are a lot of counter regulatory hormones getting released. Growth hormone is there, cortisol is there, catecholamines are there. So they are at their highest because वो अपने body को तैयार कर रहे हैं. हम fast कर रहे हैं overnight. Body has actually no glucose available after 4 hours of food in the blood. So body has to produce that glucose. So how does it produce those glucose? That glucose is released from the liver by the process known as gluconeogenesis. और ये growth hormone है, cortisol है, catecholamines, they help in releasing this glucose. So insulin levels भी high होते हैं because it doesn't want the glucose to go very high. So all hormones are high in the morning, growth hormone, cortisol, catecholamines and insulin. और इस समय अब अगर आप हाई कार्बोहाइड्रेट ब्रेकफास्ट खाते हो तो you already increase the already high glucose levels and already high insulin levels. So the breakfast should be basically of proteins, fiber and fat. Because especially those people who have already have a problem in their glucose levels, if they increase a glucose rich breakfast, then you are going to have higher glucose, higher insulin, which is going to cause problems. So you have to avoid wheat and rice based items in the breakfast. No, poha is again a rice based item and upma is also a wheat based item, but they contain lots of fiber. So I won't say totally no to these two things or even to millets, but those people who are having a lot of glucose intolerance, obesity, I would still prefer them to use this non-protein based or fiber based or wheat based items. Fiber based or protein based or fat based items. So again the screen is going to hang up. So any questions on this? Because I think we have covered this part. Again, breakfast, as I explained to you, this is the how we should take breakfast. Any questions on the breakfast
Hello?
part of it?
Sir, I have put up a question on grains containing soluble fiber.
Grains containing?
Soluble fiber in Crohn's disease.
Acha, that will be taken up because that is not related to soluble fiber. I'll take up that soluble fiber part in Crohn's disease. In the end, I'll discuss this question. So important
Please
thing
do,
about
sir. I am
proteins is
suffering
that
from Crohn's disease.
now why proteins are better in breakfast. Ideally, all proteins should be, you should take at least 25 grams of protein per meal. This is the optimum. I won't go into so much details of 25, 30, 40, but 25 grams is the optimal dose of proteins per meal. And it very important if you exercise in the morning, because in the morning the muscles are very much sensitive to proteins because the growth hormone is high. So you take a good protein breakfast and if you're exercising, you will build muscles in the morning. Now the question 3 is fasting. The fasting is the in thing, but there have been few studies recently published where show that intermittent fasting leads to more mortality, but I think that will take up that's very individual. So what is fasting actually? Fasting क्या होता है? Fasting ये होता है कि आपके पास बाहर से कोई खाना नहीं आ रहा है और बॉडी अपना बैंक बैलेंस यूज कर रहा है. I always tell my patients you have a bank balance of 2 to 3 months stored as fat in your body. Even the thinnest person will have this bank balance of energy, fat or glycogen. So fasting में we are going to use that bank balance. So what does fasting do? फास्टिंग से क्या होता है कि जो पोस्ट पेरेंडियल इंसुलिन राइज होता है, जो खाने के बाद इंसुलिन बढ़ता है, वो बाकी नॉर्मल पे आ जाता है. व्हाट वी कॉल एज रिटर्न्स टू द बेसलाइन. इट रिटर्न्स बिटवीन 4 to 6 hours of eating. The more prolonged the gap, the better the insulin will go down. So that fasting helps in decreasing the amount of or bringing the insulin back to the baseline, and this decreases the insulin levels and improves the insulin sensitivity. And what happens where insulin levels are chronically high? Jab the insulin levels are remain high for a longer time, like you eat very frequently, don't fast at all, then there is insulin resistance, and this insulin resistance is responsible for all the metabolic diseases, that is diabetes, obesity, cancers, PCOD, atherosclerosis, hypertension. There is a list of around 40-50 diseases because of insulin resistance. So fasting remains one of the most best ways of decreasing the insulin levels and improving the insulin sensitivity. Again, fasting, as you know, helps in down-regulating mTOR. Or mTOR is an enzyme which is responsible for continuous production of proteins inside the body. So proteins are, you don't produce too much of proteins, and when there's too much of mTOR, you have a risk of cancers. And again, it helps in protein recycling. So the unused proteins are started to getting used in the body in a proper way. So fasting helps that. There are downsides to fasting, which people say that you can have muscle loss, but it's not so. We'll come to that. Why muscle loss is related to food or fasting. But if you exercise properly, you won't have any muscle loss. There can be stress. That's I agree. Fasting can lead to a lot of release of catecholamines and steroids. So if you have stress, then I think you should not be fasting. Fatigue and tiredness can occur if you are fasting, because what happens is that if you do not have a proper method of fasting, then you can have inability to burn fat, because what body requires energy during fasting. So where this get the energy from? उसको एनर्जी कहाँ से मिलती है? उसको मिलती है फैट से. जो बॉडी में फैट स्टोर होता है, उससे वो एनर्जी मिलती है. और ये फैट कहाँ बर्न होता है? दिस फैट इज बर्न इनसाइड द माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया. माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया आर द एनर्जी पावर हाउसेस ऑफ द सेल. अगर माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया आपके ठीक फंक्शन नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो आप फैट नहीं बर्न कर पाएंगे, तो यू विल फील फैटिग एंड टायर्डनेस. सो यू हैव टू ट्रेन. आपको अपने माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया को ट्रेनिंग देनी पड़ती है. सो फास्टिंग शुड बी ए ग्रेजुअल प्रोसेस. यू शुड नॉट जंप टू long fast on the day one. Try to increase. I'll tell you the method of how to do it. You can have headaches, you can have hunger pangs, you can have loss of pleasure, and of course you can have mineral and vitamin disturbances. So when you are fasting, always start slow. Don't start with fasting of 24 hours, 16 hours. Move from 10 hours to 12 hours to 16 hours to 24 hours. This should be a period of 2 to 3 months. Don't go for long fast very fast. Any period of fasting is good, but evening meal, avoiding the evening meal is the best, because morning may our body is tuned to eat. Like you can have want to fast, then avoid the dinner rather than the breakfast or the lunch. But this is not hard and fast. Any fasting is good anytime. When you are fasting, drink plenty of water, namak, salts, and if needed, you can take magnesium tablets. During fasting period, you can use green tea, black coffee, nimbu pani. They won't harm you. And even you can take chas and vegetable soup. Basically, our aim of fasting is not to have a hard and fast. हमको कुछ भी नहीं खाना है. फास्टिंग का मतलब है बॉडी को रेस्ट देना है. अगर आपको भूख लगती है तो आप छाछ ले सकते हैं, वेजिटेबल सूप ले सकते हैं. Even you can take tea with and coffee with milk also. It will just decrease the amount of calories, but the fasting benefits will still be there. So don't be very rigid about fasting कि मैं तो नहीं खाऊंगा और आपको चक्कर आ रहे हैं और मैं नींबू पानी नहीं पीऊंगी. ऐसा मत करना. आपको जब भी आपको लगे तो आपको ये फास्टिंग आप इस तरह से कर सकते हैं. बाय. So any questions on fasting? Again, I like to, because we have to go, the fats and proteins are still left, but I like to ask your questions on fasting.
So what's your opinion about intermittent fasting?
I've given my opinion. I'm in benefit of it. I've already given that fasting is the best way of treating various diseases. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions specific to fasting? Fasting is good. There are some drawbacks, but if you take care of that, you should be able to fast.
Sir, I have a question relating to the other aspects. That is rice. Can I ask it, or should I hold on to my question?
Rice, we can discuss right now, because I already mentioned about millets. So we can take about rice.
Yeah. See, there are in the market the products which are called low GI rice. I'm a diabetic and I consume low GI rice only, and that too about once or twice a week. Is that actual scientific proof? I mean, I'm not a doctor, so
there can be products where the rice has been modified. Now you can modify the rice as low GI by your own. It's not like rice can be modified. Rice basically contains amylose, and if you heat the rice, cook it, and then freeze it, like freezer में रख दो आप rice को, और अगले दिन use करो तो उसकी glycemic index कम हो जाती है. So even the rice which you are eating and preparing at home, you can decrease the glycemic index by cooking the rice, keeping in the fridge and using it the second day. So you can have low glycemic rice. तो पर वो particular product के लिए whether that is scientific experiment मेरा कहना मुश्किल है, पर low glycemic rice हो सकती है. Even potatoes को भी आप कर सकते हैं. जैसे आपके पास आलू है, आलू को भी आप कुक करो और फ्रिज में रख दो ना, तो उसकी glycemic index कम हो जाती है. तो chemical reactions हैं which I won't discuss in that, but you can decrease the glycemic index. These are some hacks of food by taking these things. Refrigerating the food. अगर आप फूड को पकाओ और फ्रिज में रख दो तो ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स कम कर दोगे.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes. Yes.
I am Dr. Pradeep Dalwadi, endocrinologist. I just want to add a few comments on rice. Okay. See, here someone has asked about rice. Let me tell you just I want to add a comment. See, rice, a basic thing. Number one, longer the grain of rice, lower is the glycemic index. If you see there are certain rice available currently in the market, and the principle is longer the grain, lower is glycemic index. So if you see basmati rice, a brown basmati rice, these are having anyway lower glycemic index of around 50 and 55. So yeah, this rice you can consume in a moderation. And second, if you want to reduce glycemic index of any carbohydrate, you need to add some fat and protein into it. So if you are consuming rice and if you want to lower the glycemic index, add a half spoon of oil, or I can say a ghee, and make it with dal. So when you add some protein and fat into the carbohydrate, it reduces glycemic index of that food. So if someone want to reduce the glycemic index of rice, they can take khichdi with half spoon of ghee. That will definitely reduce glycemic index. And among the rice, rather than going for an engineered rice, You can have a basmati rice or a brown basmati rice, which are having anyway lower glycemic index around 50-55. So that diabetic patient can take a moderation, not an issue about it.
That's true. One more hack which can use to decrease the glycemic index is to add nimbu. So nimbu or vinegar, basically what happens जब हम नींबू खट्टी चीज कोई भी डालते हैं तो salivary amylase जो होता है ना, that salivary amylase plays a very important role in digestion of carbohydrates. बाकी सब में pancreatic enzymes important होती है, लेकिन carbohydrates में salivary amylase बहुत important होता है. और salivary amylase है ना, वो acidic medium में अच्छा काम नहीं करता है. तो जो हम नींबू डालें खाने में, जैसे राइस में नींबू डाल दो या किसी भी खाने में आप नींबू लेके फिर आप उसको खाओ ना, तो उसको हम विनेगर कहोगे आप वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज में. तो नींबू से किसी भी चीज की ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स कम हो जाती है. ओके, सो दैट वी गो
about pickled onions.
Pickles is also very good. Pickles is also
Onions and all. Yeah.
everything this will help in reducing the glycemic index.
Okay,
Everything will
thank
help. So now we come to question number 4, whether animal proteins or plant proteins or milk proteins. So
what about black rice?
I tell you the glycemic index of, if as far as possible, I prefer millets. Okay, but still want to consume rice, use those hacks. Now we have this important concept of vegan. So let me discuss something about animal proteins, plant proteins, and milk proteins. So what is this advantage with animal proteins? Animals protein का advantage होता है कि उसके amino acids होते हैं. We have 20 amino acids, 9 are essential. So they have contained all the amino acids. There is a better bioavailability. Bioavailability का मतलब होता है कि उसकी absorption blood में ज़्यादा अच्छी होती है from the food, because fiber कम होता है. Anti nutrients नहीं होते animal protein में. फिर they have a better absorption because they don't have anti nutrients. So less amount of protein is required to fulfill the body needs. They contain the ideal amounts of leucine, and leucine is very important for muscle growth and starting the muscle growth and promoting the muscle growth. Just a second. Intermittently, my presentation goes haywire. So I was on this animal protein. Okay. So this is the advantage of animal protein. Now we come to plant protein. Plant protein में disadvantage कुछ नहीं है, खाली you require more consumption of plant proteins because the bioavailability of plant protein is less. Plant protein में क्या होता है कि the amino acids are not complete. That some will contain some amino acids, some will contain some amino acids. But if you contain a balanced diet, जैसे दाल, चावल, रोटी, सब्जी सब खाते हो आप, तो आपको सब टाइप के अमाइनो एसिड्स मिल जाते हैं. तो ऐसा नहीं कि वेगान डाइट से या वेजिटेरियन डाइट से आपको सब अमाइनो एसिड्स नहीं मिलेंगे, पर उनकी बायोअवेलेबिलिटी कम होती है. दे आर एब्जॉर्ब स्लोली बिकॉज दे कंटेन लॉट ऑफ फाइबर. सो द सेम क्वांटिटी, मोर क्वांटिटी मिल चाहिए आपको सेम इफेक्ट्स के लिए. सो इट्स नॉट हार्मफुल और इट्स नॉट बैड, but these are some of the disadvantages of plant protein. Milk protein is basically casein. 80% of the milk is casein protein and 20% is whey. जो हम whey खाते हैं, whey protein powder, that is 20% of the milk protein. The advantage of whey protein, it is very rapidly absorbed. Within 30 minutes, the whey enters the bloodstream. It is the fastest absorbing protein. That is why it is used in whey protein exercise के बाद जो हम powder खाते हैं, that contains whey protein. So उसमें सब essential amino acids होते हैं. This milk is the one of the, besides egg, this is the second substance which contains all the essential amino acids in the right quantity. So that is the three parts of these three types of proteins. So which protein is best? ऐसा क्या animal अच्छा है? तो I would say that quantity is more important than type. Whether you take milk or you take animal or you take plant. If you take proper quantity, that is whether any of the three proteins you can take. How much quantity you should take? Abhi iska calculation is very varied, but usually 15% of the body energy should be taken from proteins. Like if you are taking 2000 kilocalories per day, then 15% of that will be 300. So around 75 grams of protein will be required for a person who is consuming 2000 kilocalories. Other way of saying is 1.5 gram per kg body weight. But This is not hard and fast. You can grow your muscles even on a lower protein intake. The RDA, the requirement which is recommended by WHO as well as most of the country is only 0.8 grams. But ideally, you should take 25 grams of protein with each meal. I would suggest that in protein intake, rather than concentrating of animal protein, vegan protein, this protein, exercise. So exercise is more important than the amount and the type of protein you are taking. If you are taking animal protein and not doing exercise, that animal protein is not going to build muscles, it is going to build fat because it will be stored as fat inside the liver. So whether you take vegan protein or animal protein, always do exercise if you want to use that protein for muscle intake. So anything about proteins? Anything, questions about animal proteins, vegetarian proteins, milk proteins, before we move on to the last part of the thing, that is fats? Any questions on that?
What about the egg yolk?
And the egg yolk is good. Complete protein is there. You can take both egg yolk as a white fat. Yolk is not protein. Yolk is fat. Fat is good.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
so
coming to
those who
fat on
have
that.
cholesterol problems.
We'll come to that. That is the last question. We'll come to that
Okay.
now. But first, we'll talk about proteins. Any questions on proteins?
Yes. What about the Amul proteins which are available in marketed by Amul? That this much 200 ml contains 25 grams of proteins like that. Should we consume it?
I think if any good brand is there and you feel that what they are telling is proper, then you can consume that, because some people who cannot consume orally sufficient amount of natural proteins present in the food, or their protein requirement is more, then they can take whey protein supplements. There is no harm in taking whey protein supplements if you are very confident that the brand is good.
What about soya and tofu and all that,
I've
plant-based?
already mentioned you can use any proteins. You can use whey protein. The only advantage of whey protein is rapidly absorbed. So there is no harm in taking soya protein. You can take tofu protein. All proteins are good. Only thing, if you take protein, you should exercise. Because if you take proteins and do not exercise, that protein is not going to build muscles. It is going to be deposited as fat. So it's causing harm to you. आपको नुकसान पहुंचाएगा. अगर आप प्रोटीन खाते हो और एक्सरसाइज नहीं करते हो, तो I want to say is quality or type of protein is not important. Exercise is more important.
Ashish, what about patients person having hyperuricemia, or a person who is an elderly person with some renal impairment?
देखो उसमें ऐसा मानते थे कि हाँ, यूरिक एसिड इज इंक्रीज बाय प्रोटीन्स, व्हिच इज टोटली फॉल्स. ठीक है ना, ये बिल्कुल फॉल्स सेइंग है. एंड वेजिटेरियन प्रोटीन से तो यूरिक एसिड बिल्कुल नहीं बढ़ता, बिकॉज यूरिक एसिड बढ़ता है समथिंग डीएनए जिसमें होता है, डीएनए, बिकॉज यूरिक एसिड बेसिकली डीएनए का एक मेटाबोलाइट है. सो पायरेमिडिन्स, तो एनिमल प्रोडक्ट से यू कैन हैव सम इंक्रीज इन यूरिक एसिड बिकॉज दे कंटेन डीएनए. ओके, प्लांट प्रोटीन्स में डीएनए नहीं होता है, तो यू कैन हैव एनिमल प्रोटीन्स, उससे यूरिक एसिड बढ़ सकता है. पर यूरिक एसिड बढ़ने का ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट कारण इज फ्रुक्टोज. यूरिक एसिड इज ए बाय प्रोडक्ट इन फ्रुक्टोज मेटाबॉलिज्म. इट इज नॉट ए बाय प्रोडक्ट ऑफ प्रोटीन मेटाबॉलिज्म. तो जो एक बहुत गलत कॉन्सेप्ट हो गया है कि यूरिक प्रोटीन खाने से यूरिक एसिड बढ़ जाता है, ये बहुत गलत कॉन्सेप्ट है. यूरिक एसिड बढ़ता है फ्रुक्टोज खाने से. फ्रुक्टोज का एक मेटाबोलाइट है यूरिक एसिड. So we have to.
So you would rather advise to avoid fruits and.
Yes. I would advise them to stop sugar.
Okay.
Fruits का क्या है कि fruits में जो fructose होता है ना, वो it's a big story, long story. I don't know whether we'll have time. तो we'll take, उसमें काफी चीजें ना वो फैट में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है, because fructose fat is used by the gut microbiome. और अल्टीमेटली वो गट माइक्रोबायोम उससे क्या बनाता है, फैट बनाता है, what we call as short chain fatty acids. So I would say that fructose is not bad, because it is not goes, much of it doesn't go into the blood at all. It's used by the body gut microbiome, converted into short chain fatty acids, and then it is used as fat inside the body. So that's why we don't go into एनिमल, इसलिए वो फ्रुक्टोज बॉडी के लिए अच्छा पड़ता है. जो प्लांट्स में होता है ना वो अच्छा रहता है.
The upper limit of uric acid in menopausal ladies.
देखो, there is no upper limit. The lower the uric acid you have, it is better. all these measurements are very I don't believe all these measurements. जैसे measurements में कहते हैं आपका कोलेस्ट्रॉल इतना होना चाहिए, आपका, तो these are basically normal people का बहुत सारा किया है. The lower the uric acid, the better. The animal uric acid is only 3 or 4. हम लोगों ने humans में 5 or 7 या 6 का रखा हुआ है. तो जितना अच्छा low uric acid हो उतना अच्छा रहता है. Because uric acid is byproduct of fructose.
Ashish, any word about lactose intolerance? We see a lot of patients who ingest milk complain of bloating, and
we have problems in
and a few word about like poultry, they give a lot of hormones, and this creates also skin issues. And any word about that?
We'll take these two questions about lactose, and we'll first finish the fatty acid. So what we had last question is good fat, bad fat. We should know what is fats. Fats are basically saturated. They can be monounsaturated, what we known as MUFA. उसको हम omega 9 भी कहते हैं. Or they can be polyunsaturated, which can be omega 3 or omega 6. So ये important diagram है. I don't know whether you'll recollect this if you can take a photograph कि किसमें कितना होता है. घी में you will see it is basically saturated fat. और what MUFA किसमें होता है? Indian अगर foods देखें ना तो which are good in monounsaturated fats. We can see sesame oil, तिल का तेल में MUFA अच्छा होता है. मस्टर्ड ऑयल, सरसों के तेल में मुफा इतना अच्छा होता है, इट इज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक ऑलिव ऑयल. सोयाबीन, सनफ्लावर ऑयल, सोयाबीन सैफलॉवर ऑयल में मुफा नहीं होता है. ग्राउंडनट ऑयल में भी मुफा अच्छा होता है, राइस ब्रान में भी अच्छा होता है, सनफ्लावर में कम होता है. सो दिस इज बेसिकली आई वांट टू से दिस इज ए गुड फैट. मुफा किस किस में अच्छा होता है याद रखना. अब मुफा में के दो पार्ट्स होते हैं. ओमेगा 3 इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट. अब ओमेगा 3 किस में अच्छा होता है? यू कैन सी मस्टर्ड ऑयल में सबसे ज्यादा होता है. So what is the best oil in Indian conditions? Is mustard oil. Mustard oil is very commonly used सरसों का तेल in North India, in Eastern India, less commonly used in South India and Western India. Western India, South India में the other oils are more commonly used. अब you can see the groundnut oil. अब groundnut oil में the MUFA is reasonably good, but there is no omega 3. So that is the disadvantage of groundnut oil. So what I advise my patients is always use oils, change the oils. एक ही oil मत use करो, सब oils को एक के बाद एक use करो. Because those people who are not tuned to using सरसों का तेल, they can also learn to use सरसों का तेल. These are the some of the recommendations of WHO के ideally omega 3 और omega 6 का ratio should be 1:1, and you can see what is the ratio right now. Omega 6 and omega 3 का ratio, and I think I have a slide on that.
आशीष,
हाँ बोलो.
ये ऑयल्स को जो बोल रहे हैं, जैसे ऑलिव ऑयल में कि भी इसको कच्चा खाना चाहिए, उसको बॉइलिंग में और प्रोसेस में नहीं करना चाहिए, ऐसे
क्वेश्चन. हाँ,
और
क्या है, कोई भी जो अनसैचुरेटेड ऑयल्स होते हैं, वेदर देयर ऑलिव ऑयल या पॉली अनसैचुरेटेड होता है, ग्राउंडनट ऑयल है, उसमें क्या ऑक्सीडेशन का रिस्क रहता है. नाउ व्हाट इज द एडवांटेज ऑफ सैचुरेटेड ऑयल? जो घी होता है, घी का एडवांटेज क्या है? घी has carbon atoms which are fully saturated with hydrogen, and there are no carbon atoms left, so it doesn't get oxidized. घी पड़ा खराब नहीं होता है.
Okay.
ऑयल में प्रॉब्लम क्या है? ऑयल गेट्स ऑक्सीडाइज्ड, whether it is monounsaturated or polyunsaturated. और जब उसको गर्म करते हो ना, तो उसका ऑक्सीडेशन का रिस्क बढ़ जाता है.
Okay.
तो अगर आप कच्चा ऑयल खाते हो तो ऑक्सीडाइज नहीं होता है. So it is better to eat raw oil rather than cooked oil. अगर ऑयल को कुकिंग भी करते हैं, to take certain precautions so that doesn't get oxidized. So अपने को precautions क्या लेने हैं when cooking oil? Don't deep fry. जितना deep fry करोगे उतना oxidation का risk बढ़ जाता है. And oxidized MUFA and PUFA, that is polyunsaturated oxidized oil or monounsaturated oxidized oil, cannot be digested in the human body. अपने पास वो एंजाइम्स नहीं है जो ऑक्सीडाइज ऑयल को ब्रेक डाउन कर सके, तो बॉडी में कचरा के तरीके इकट्ठा होती रहती हैं और बॉडी को डैमेज करती हैं, जिसको हम एथेरोस्क्लेरोसिस कह लो या कुछ भी कह लो. तो कोई भी चीज को डीप फ्राई नहीं करना चाहिए. अगर उसको यूज करना है तो जितना हो सके रॉ फॉर्म में, ऐसा आपने बोला, उसको यूज करो. और तड़का इज स्टिल ए गुड ऑप्शन बिकॉज उसमें इतना डीप फ्राई नहीं होता है. पड़ा हुआ ऑयल मत यूज करो। When oil is getting used, don't reuse it again. वापस डीप फ्राई नहीं करना चाहिए। और बाहर के खाना हम जब खाते हैं उसमें यही होता है, अगेन एंड अगेन द सेम ऑयल इज यूज्ड फॉर फ्राइंग। सो आउटसाइड फूड का एक बहुत बड़ा डिसएडवांटेज है, वी कैन नॉट रेगुलेट द अमाउंट ऑफ oil that is being fried. So that is why I ask people to instead of stopping oil altogether, you can stop the outside food, because outside food में जो तेल है बार बार यूज होता है, वो डीप फ्राई होता रहता है, तो ऑक्सीडाइज हो जाता है, और ऑक्सीडाइज ऑयल इज मोर हार्मफुल। अदरवाइज मोनोअनसैचुरेटेड एंड पॉलीअनसैचुरेटेड आर गुड ऑयल्स, दे डिक्रीज द अमाउंट ऑफ LDL in the body because they increase the amount of LDL receptors in the liver cells. So if you want to decrease the LDL, then MUFA and PUFA are good, but the problem with this is they get oxidized if you don't take care. So अगर आप तेल ध्यान से नहीं खाते तो तेल बॉडी में ऑक्सीडाइज हो जाता है और आपकी बॉडी को डैमेज करता है, जबकि घी में नहीं है।
और एक इम्पोर्टेंट,
घी में डीप फ्राई कर सकते हैं?
हाँ, घी ऑक्सीडाइज नहीं होता है।
अच्छा, और गाय का घी?
सब घी एक, देखो गाय का घी और बफेलो के घी में थोड़े से चेंजेस हैं, we can discuss that कि गाय के घी और बफेलो के घी में डिफरेंस क्या है? अमाउंट ऑफ शॉर्ट चेन फैटी एसिड्स प्रेजेंट, अमाउंट ऑफ मीडियम चेन फैटी एसिड्स प्रेजेंट। अब शॉर्ट, अपने 3 टाइप के सैचुरेटेड फैट्स होते हैं, वी हैव शॉर्ट चेन फैट्स, वी हैव मीडियम चेन फैट्स एंड वी हैव लॉन्ग चेन फैट्स। जो शॉर्ट चेन फैट्स तो अपनी बॉडी खुद बनाती है, हमने सुना फाइबर में से जो बैक्टीरिया होते हैं वो शॉर्ट चेन फैट बना देता है। सो our body makes short chain fats. So short chain and medium chain fats are good for the body. तो जो गाय के घी में शॉर्ट चेन और मीडियम चेन फैट्स ज्यादा होते हैं, so they are, it's considered to be better. पर ऐसा नहीं है, you can use buffalo ghee also, all ghees are good, पर थोड़ा गाय का घी ज्यादा अच्छा गिना जाता है। Okay, so we were on this slide on
अच्छा, एक क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहती हूँ सर, मैं ask?
Madam, I'll just finish off this because then I'll be left time for questions. Just let me finish off this. So we were discussing this. I would like to take about controversies in fat intake. कि फैट इंटेक से वजन बढ़ जाता है, फैट इंटेक से हार्ट डिजीज बन जाती है, सैचुरेटेड फैट से बढ़ जाती है, तो ऐसा है कि नहीं? ऐसा कहते थे कि फैट में ज्यादा कैलोरीज होती हैं, पर ऐसा नहीं है। There is no study to show that fat causes obesity. Fat is just a storage form of all the extra energy in the body, whether it is carbohydrate. So fat doesn't lead to insulin spikes. So what is most important? Fat is good because doesn't increase the insulin. Fat causes early satiety. So you eat less if you eat fat, and fat metabolism generates ketone bodies. Ketone bodies suppress the hunger. So fat is good for the body. जो concept बना है fat is bad for the body, that is totally wrong. Fat is good for the body. इंडिया में ओबेसिटी हो रही है, वो क्यों हो रही है? Whether it is इंडिया में वैसे भी फैट इंटेक बहुत कम है, किसी जगह पे तो it is less than 15% of the body intake is fat. You can see this slide. Hardly we eat fats as compared to other countries. बहुत कम फैट खाते हैं हम लोग, और सैचुरेटेड फैट तो बहुत ही कम खाते हैं। रूरल में तो खाली 4.5% सैचुरेटेड, अर्बन में भी 8.8%. इट्स स्टिल लेस कंपेयर्ड टू वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज विच इज 12-13%. सो हमारी जो ओबेसिटी है इज नॉट रिलेटेड टू सैचुरेटेड फैट, it is more related to PUFAs and especially high omega-6 PUFAs. हमने जो डिस्कस किया, high omega-6 PUFAs get oxidized inside the body and they lead to inflammation and obesity. So that is why just to replace ghee with tel is not going to decrease the problem of obesity and metabolic diseases. So that question of obesity and metabolic disease is answered by this. देन अगर प्रॉब्लम रहता है कि सैचुरेटेड फैट घी खाने से हार्ट डिजीज होती है, अब उसमें एक 7 कंट्रीज की स्टडी आई थी जिसमें एंसेल्स की इसने कंडक्ट की थी, जिसने बोला था कि जो सैचुरेटेड फैट खाते हैं उनको हार्ट की प्रॉब्लम ज्यादा होती है। पर उसके अगेंस्ट काफी ऐसी स्टडीज आ गई हैं जिसको हम मिनेसोटा कंट्रोलरी एक्सपेरिमेंट कहते हैं, सिडनी हार्ट स्टडी कहते हैं, जिसमें क्लियर हो गया है कि सैचुरेटेड फैट खाने से हार्ट डिजीज नहीं होती है। तो डाइट हार्ट फैट हाइपोथेसिस इज रॉन्ग. Saturated fat doesn't cause heart disease. There are 2 types of fats, saturated fats. You can have endogenous and exogenous. Actually body ना saturated fat ही बनाती है. Body doesn't make polyunsaturated fat, वो essential fat गिनते हैं. तो हमारी बॉडी जब saturated fat ब्लड में बनाती है, उसका मतलब नहीं है वो खाने से आता है. जो ब्लड में saturated fat होता है वो किससे आता है? Just see the last line is linked to carbohydrate intake. So amount of saturated fat which is produced in the body is related to your carbohydrate intake, not to your saturated fat intake. An increase in saturated fat intake doesn't lead to increase in saturated fats inside the blood. Okay, उसका भी reason दिया हुआ है, because अगर आप ज़्यादा फैट खाते हो तो ज़्यादा फैट बर्न भी करते हो, तो आपका फैट बॉडी में नहीं बढ़ता. फैट, सैचुरेटेड फैट ब्लड में कहाँ से आता है? It comes from carb intake, not from lipid intake. Some people have a genetic predisposition, ऐसा नहीं है. Some people, किसी लोगों को घी खाने से LDL कोलेस्ट्रॉल जो हम गिनते हैं खराब है वो बढ़ सकता है, पर that is very individualized. So don't generalize. और सबको घी बंद करना ऐसा नहीं करो, वो उससे काफी हार्म्स आएंगे. घी बंद करने से कार्बोहाइड्रेट इंटेक बढ़ जाएगा, पॉली अनसैचुरेटेड तेल, खराब तेलों का इंटेक बढ़ जाएगा, which can cause more harm to the body. So always try to individualize. Don't diffusely say stop all ghee. वो बहुत important चीज है. So what I will see is what is the good fat, what is the bad fat. Trans fats and oxidized fats are bad for the body. Omega-3 and polyunsaturated fatty acids are good for the body. Saturated fats and PUFA, if taken by the proper person in the proper amounts, are okay for the body. I think I finished my last slide. Now we'll take the questions.
Sir, I wanted to ask you one question. What about cold compressed oil, which are too much marketed nowadays?
Very good, because the problem with all these refined oils is there's already oxidation present when you consume the oil. आप refined oil जब बाजार से लेके आते हैं, उसमें पहले ही काफी अमाउंट ऑक्सीडाइज हो चुका है, तेल ऑलरेडी खराब हो चुका है, बिकॉज उसको बहुत हीट से अंडरगो जाता है, बहुत हीट प्रोसेसेस होते हैं, केमिकल प्रोसेसेस होते हैं. तो आई वुड प्रीफर कोल्ड प्रेस्ड ऑयल्स एनी डे. उसमें ऑक्सीडेशन का रिस्क कम है और टॉक्सिक केमिकल्स का रिस्क कम है. तो कोल्ड प्रेस्ड ऑयल, इफ यू वांट टू यूज ऑयल, यूज कोल्ड प्रेस्ड ऑयल, दैट इज मच मच बेटर.
और फिर जब हम सब्जी बनाते हैं, when we are cooking the vegetables, how much heat should be preheated before we put vegetables inside?
देखो, don't try to make it should not be boiling.
Okay.
It shouldn't be boiling. Once you start boiling the oil, then it tends to get oxidized.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Ashish, I am Dr. Varsha. What about filtered oils? There is something like filtered oil?
देखो, this as long as the heat is not used in processing. देखो, there is a process. Refined oil का एक advantage तो रहता है, उसमें काफी एंटी न्यूट्रिएंट्स या टॉक्सिन्स निकल जाते हैं. तो फिल्टर्ड ऑयल में समझो अगर आप कोल्ड प्रेस किया लेकिन फिल्टर किया तो अच्छा रहता है. लेकिन अब वो बेसिक प्रोसेस, हीट प्रोसेस है कि कोल्ड प्रोसेस है, वो इंपॉर्टेंट है. Filtration helps. Filtration helps. Filtration helps the anti-nutrients.
Because I used to understand that filtered oil is better. Yeah. Okay.
That is better. But it all depends. As far as possible, avoid the cold heat pressed oil. Refined oils. Avoid refined oils.
Ashish, what about
protein powders? Sir, can they be used for children?
देखो, प्रोटीन, देखो चिल्ड्रन में in the sense के अगर उनकी protein requirement is not getting fulfilled with the food, then only protein powders to be used, whether it is children or adults. Anything which is natural is much better than what is processed. अगर किसी की प्रोटीन, जैसे कि इंडियंस है, अब इंडियंस को आप कितना भी ट्राई कर लो, if you don't eat vegetarian, non-vegetarian diet, and if you're not exercising, your protein requirements may not be fulfilled. So in those cases, you can always take protein powders. It is not the best thing, but it is not the worst thing. Protein powders can be used if you feel that your orally naturally occurring fruits cannot fulfill your protein requirements.
Ashish, what about lactose intolerance and
lactose intolerance? तो है, there is a genuine issue. There is a genuine issue of lactose intolerance. We do not, as we grow older, we have a lactase enzyme deficiency. So हमारा body is not able to digest the lactose part of the milk. So but whey protein can be manufactured lactose free, and you can use dahi because dahi contains the lactose free. So these things can be taken care of by milk. If you want to take milk proteins and want to avoid the lactose, then take dahi and take whey protein, which is lactose free. And
what about the poultry farm? They give injections.
Hormones are an issue with everything. All animal products can have hormones. Poultries, meat, So that is a problem with even milk. Milk can also contain the hormones because the cattle may be injected with to increase the milk production. So that is a problem. Even with the vegan diet, you can have pesticides. So anything which increases the food intake, so that is an issue everywhere. So you have to live with that.
Sir, what about ghee for cardiac diabetic profile? I am cardiac patient and diabetic.
Okay. Now that is a very important question. Whether ghee can be consumed by people who have a heart disease. So what is believed that it is responsible that घी से क्या होता है कि आपका LDL बढ़ जाएगा ऐसा कहते हैं, और LDL ultimately damages the heart, ऐसा मानना हो गया है. पर ऐसा बात सही है कि घी से LDL बढ़ेगा, सब लोगों में नहीं बढ़ेगा लेकिन किसी किसी में तो बढ़ेगा. So अगर आप घी खाते हैं और आपका LDL बढ़ रहा है तो that means that घी is increasing the LDL and LDL आपके हार्ट को डैमेज करेगा, तो आपको फिर ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा. लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि आप घी बंद कर दो और तेल खाते रहो या फैट खाते हो या कार्बोहाइड्रेट खाते रहो, बिकॉज दैट इज गोइंग टू कॉज मोर हार्म. सो आप घी की जगह पे क्या खाते हो वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. आप घी बंद करके फाइबर वाले फ्रूट खाते हो, मिलेट्स खाते हो, अच्छा तेल खाते हो, दैट इज ओके. पर घी बंद करके आप फास्ट फूड खाते हो, आप खराब तेल खाते हो, तो इट इज गोइंग टू कॉज हार्म. सो घी, अगर आपका घी आपका LDL बढ़ाता है, सब में ऐसा नहीं होता है, तो मैं क्या बोलता हूं हमारे पेशेंट्स को कि ठीक है आपका LDL बढ़ा हुआ है, आपको हार्ट डिजीज है, तो आप घी कम कर सकते हो, लेकिन उसके साथ आपको कार्बोहाइड्रेट भी कम करना पड़ेगा. अगर आप कार्बोहाइड्रेट ज्यादा खाओगे और घी बंद करोगे, आपकी हार्ट डिजीज में कोई फर्क पड़ने वाला नहीं है. अगर आप रिफाइंड कार्ब्स खाते हो, जैसे शुगर्स खाते हो, फास्ट फूड खाते हो, ब्रेड खाते हो, बिस्किट खाते हो, नमकीन खाते हो, इन सब में रैपिडली एब्जॉर्बेबल कार्बोहाइड्रेट होते हैं, दे आर गोइंग टू कॉज यू मोर हार्म देन घी. तो घी इज वन ऑफ द कॉजेज ऑफ इंक्रीज LDL, पर देयर आर सो मेनी अदर थिंग्स यू शुड टेक केयर ऑफ. सो घी पे बहुत फोकस मत करिए, दूसरी चीजों पे ज्यादा फोकस करिए, मैं ऐसा बोलता हूँ.
आशीष, मीन्स LDL लेवल जो अभी कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट वगैरह सब सजेस्ट करते हैं वो तो करीब 60s में बोल रहे हैं कि 50-60s होना चाहिए, पर मुझे लगता है कि विदाउट टेकिंग एनी स्टैटिन्स और एनी अदर मेडिकेशंस विद डाइट इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल, एक्सरसाइज डाइट. तो उस पे आपका क्या कहना है? कि
देखो, अगर आपका ना LDL के दो प्रकार होते हैं, एक होता है खराब LDL, एक होता है अच्छा LDL. अभी फैट के दो प्रकार तो आपने सुने, अच्छा कोलेस्ट्रॉल HDL इज गुड. LDL भी दो प्रकार का होता है, एक खराब LDL जिसको हम ऑक्सीडाइज LDL कहते हैं, और अच्छा LDL जिसको हम लार्ज बॉइंट LDL कहते हैं. लार्ज बॉइंट LDL इज नॉट हार्मफुल फॉर द बॉडी. तो अब अगर आपके अंदर ऑक्सीडाइज LDL है, दैट इज हार्मफुल. सो आपका सपोज LDL लेवल 100 है सपोज, और 60 है, लेकिन 60 आपका लेवल है, लेकिन आपका ट्राइग्लिसराइड्स 150 है, तो आपका वो 60 में भी 20 खराब LDL होगा. ठीक है ना? अगर आपका 100 LDL है लेकिन आपका ट्राइग्लिसराइड लेवल 50 है, तो आपका वो 100 का 100 अच्छा LDL होगा. तो अच्छा और खराब LDL is more important rather than the absolute levels of LDL.
So
if you have
small dense LDL, so how can you can correlate with triglycerides?
You can find out the amount of LDL खराब LDL you have by finding the ratio of triglycerides to HDL. अगर आपके triglycerides को HDL ratio is 1, ideally 1, you should have 65 HDL and 65 triglycerides. Then आपका LDL खराब है ही नहीं. This LDL is not going to cause harm to any cell of the body. Okay. पर प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रही है हमारे में, जो मैंने कार्बोहाइड्रेट, if you eat more carbohydrate rich diet or your body is not having a perfect genetics, तो आपका जो ट्राइग्लिसराइड HDL रेशियो 1.5 से क्रॉस कर जाता है. जब 1.5 से ज्यादा हो जाता है तो फिर आपको जो LDL है ना वो ऑक्सीडाइज होना शुरू हो जाता है, और ऑक्सीडाइज LDL is bad. So instead of looking at the absolute levels of LDL, try to look at the triglyceride to HDL ratio. If the ratio is 1, then your LDL is good. It is not going to cause you harm.
नहीं, पर आशीष, have you seen such normal persons having this type of LDL HDL ratio, triglyceride HDL?
My triglyceride HDL ratio is 0.8.
It's not about you.
Any person has so many people who have a good triglyceride. देखो, our carbohydrate, देखो 90% of us are metabolically deranged.
Okay.
So to find a good triglyceride HDL ratio is a rare thing. आपको बोलूँ?
Yeah, वही मैं बोल.
हाँ, ये rare thing, because our diet is not proper, our exercise is not there. So 90% of all us are metabolically deranged. So if you have to have an ideal condition, you should have a triglyceride to HDL ratio of 1, 65 triglycerides, 65 HDL. Then your LDL doesn't matter, because that LDL is going to be large buoyant LDL, and large buoyant LDL is not harmful to the body. I know, there are studies to show as you grow older, the more LDL you have, the longer lifespan you will have.
Okay.
The LDL is directly related to lifespan because LDL is a very strong protection against bacterial infections. LDL is the one which binds to bacterial endotoxins and prevents infections. So those old people who have low LDL are going to die from bacterial infections, not from heart disease. So it's LDL. So you should always take a risk benefit ratio. Suppose आपका heart disease बहुत खराब है, then you will focus on the heart disease, forget about the infections. Okay. But if you do not have heart disease, that's why I'm telling my patients कि आपको कोई heart की बीमारी नहीं है, तो आप अपने LDL को क्यों कम करना चाहते हैं? वो आपको infection से prone कर देगा. So don't bother about LDL if you do not have heart disease. If you have a good lifestyle, you have a proper triglycerides, तो आप क्या अगर आपका लाइफस्टाइल अच्छी है, आपका LDL अच्छा है, तो और आप LDL कम करना शुरू करोगे तो आपको इन्फेक्शंस का रिस्क बढ़ जाएगा. हाँ, those people who have already have a heart disease, for them you have to take that risk of infections. जैसे आपने 60 LDL कर दिया, तो you have to take a risk of infections, you have to take a risk of brain dementia. तो रिस्क लोगे, फिर क्या करेंगे अब? Because आपको हार्ट को प्रोटेक्ट करना है. I hope I am clear.
या और स्टैटिन से HDL भी अफेक्ट होता है?
स्टैटिन से HDL पे बहुत इफेक्ट नहीं होता है. HDL is basically affected by exercise. There is no medicine which can affect the HDL. HDL can be only increased by exercise.
Okay.
Ashish sir, Dr. Chirag, gastroenterologist from Ahmedabad.
हाँ बोलो सर.
सर एक क्वेश्चन था, HDL कोलेस्ट्रॉल बहुत सारे लोगों का जेनेटिकली लो रहता है, तो उसको कैसे इंक्रीज कर सकते हैं?
नहीं, अभी there is no medicines to modify. The only thing you can try is exercise. There is nothing we can do about it. अभी उसका इतना नहीं है कि जेनेटिकली लो HDL है तो उसके लिए हार्ट में कितना असर करेगा, पर HDL हम 55 से ऊपर होते हैं तो इट इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोटेक्टिव मैकेनिज्म्स. दिस हेल्प्स इन रिमूविंग द फैट फ्रॉम द डिपॉजिटेड फैट इन द आर्टरीज. तो जहां भी खराब फैट डिपॉजिट हो रहा है, HDL हेल्प्स इन रिमूविंग दैट खराब फैट बैक टू द लीवर. सो HDL का ये एडवांटेज है, तो फिर पर वी कैन नॉट डू मच एनीथिंग अबाउट इट.
एक्सरसाइज कौन सी बताते हैं ज्यादा?
अभी एक्सरसाइज का तो
70
नहीं, यू कैन देखो, as you grow older, the most important exercise is strength training. Okay. If you want to do exercise as you cross the age of 60, it should always be strength training. Walking is okay, good exercise, but if you not do strength training, you are going to do worse. So किसी भी आदमी को exercise करनी है, as he grows older, he should be starting muscles exercise, because you lose 1% of muscles per year after the age of 30. So when you reach the age of 60 or 70, you already lost 20-30% of the muscles. So very important to do strength training exercises, whatever strength training exercise you can do as you grow old.
Some words for fatty liver.
What do you want to learn about fatty liver? What are the questions?
Where does it come along the way of all these?
देखो, fatty liver,
metabolism?
if you talk about fat, liver is the first, because whatever you eat, ultimately it is going to be stored or used as energy. आपने कुछ खाना खाया, अगर आपने उसको एनर्जी आपने यूज नहीं किया उसको, तो कहीं स्टोर होगा बॉडी में. सबसे पहले कहाँ स्टोर होता है? सबसे पहले वो बॉडी के सबक्यू टिश्यूज में स्टोर होता है एज फैट, और मसल्स में होता है ग्लाइकोजन करके. जब बॉडी के सबक्यू टिश्यूज आर फिल्ड विथ फैट, और यू डू नॉट हैव इवन इनफ स्पेस इन दैट बॉडी सबक्यू टिश्यूज, वो बॉडी एनर्जी कहाँ स्टोर करेगी? वो स्टोर्स इन द लीवर. तो फैटी लीवर इज ए डिजीज ऑफ एक्सेस एनर्जी इनसाइड द बॉडी. ठीक है, कहीं भी आपने एनर्जी यूज नहीं की है बॉडी में, या एनर्जी ज्यादा खा रहे हैं, तो बॉडी में लीवर में फैट बन के स्टोर हो रही है. जब लीवर फैट से भर जाता है, तो फिर लीवर वो एनर्जी एक्सपोर्ट करता है एज कोलेस्ट्रॉल, एज ट्राइग्लिसराइड्स. सो फिर बॉडी में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होना शुरू हो जाता है, फिर हार्ट में जाके एथेरोस्क्लेरोसिस बन जाता है, या पैंक्रियास जाके डिपॉजिट करता है, एंड यू डेवलप बीटा सेल डिसफंक्शन. सो बेसिकली Fatty liver is a consequence of excess energy storage inside the body because you are eating more than you are utilizing.
Ashish, besides diet and exercise, you recommend anything for fatty liver treatment?
The fatty liver treatment, basically the treatment of, as I mentioned, if you follow this advice, start eating millets, using the fats in a proper way, eating a breakfast which is rich in proteins rather than rich in carbohydrates. So all these things will help in decreasing the fatty liver.
Medicine, regarding medicine, diet and exercise.
Medicine, basically medicine is just not to decrease. देखो जो Ozempic या Wegovy medicines आ रही हैं, basically they help you following a proper lifestyle. What is Wegovy or what is Ozempic जो medicines आई हैं? Basically they help in decreasing the food intake and they decrease in insulin levels. कोई भी चीज इंसुलिन लेवल कम करती है तो बॉडी का मेटाबॉलिक रेट बढ़ जाता है. तो ये मेडिसिन डायरेक्टली हिट करती हैं एट द बेस कॉज, दे डिक्रीज द फूड इनटेक. ओके, दैट इज अबाउट एडवांटेज ऑफ वेगोवी एंड ओजेम्पिक. देन एक मेडिसिन आ रही है रेस्वेरेट्रॉन. रेस्वेरेट्रॉन इज ए मेडिसिन which is available now just now in India, which helps in burning of the fat inside the liver. वो बॉडी का लीवर के माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल फंक्शन को इंक्रीज कर देता है, तो लीवर में जो फैट स्टोरेज है वो बर्न होता है. बाकी जो मेडिसिन हैं जैसे कि बिलिप्सा helps in transporting the fat from the liver to the subacute tissues. So just the fat is transported from the liver to the subacute tissues. And जो Evion है, vitamin E, that helps in decreasing the inflammation caused by the fat. So these are all the various medicines which are effective in fatty liver at different stages of fatty liver.
Sir, Crohn's
I would like to ask you a very pertinent practical questions. Like these companies are coming with this all anti-obesity drugs, and now they are advertising and focusing on obesity is actually not energy disorder, it's more of a behavioral and behavioral disorder. And those who are obese and they are not able to do that diet management and exercise because of it's a behavioral disorder rather than that of it's an energy disorder. So what's your take? You are seeing a lot of patients whether they are able to change their behavior or it is ultimately they go on medicine.
We'll come to that. Someone had a question on Crohn's disease. What was the question?
Yes, sir. It's कौन से grains खाएं जिसमें soluble fiber हो, मैदा और राइस.
सब फाइबर में soluble fiber होता है और फाइबर दोनों. Crohn's disease में soluble fiber is good as long as you do not have too much of intestinal obstruction. Soluble fiber is very good for inflammatory bowel disease. सब grains में soluble fiber होता है.
सर उसमें HDL कैसे बढ़ाएं?
HDL तो exercise से बढ़ेगा और किसी चीज से नहीं बढ़ता. There is no artificial ways or food ways to increase the HDL.
Okay, sir.
Dr. Sethi, I would like to ask, like,
एक क्वेश्चन था सर, कई जीपीज फैटी लिवर रिपोर्ट को देख के यूडिलिव और ये यूरोडॉक्सिकोलिक एसिड ये सब टैबलेट्स प्रिस्क्राइब करते हैं, तो इज देयर एनी रोल?
Okay, I'll come to that question. We have a question by Dr. Shashi. I'll answer that regarding Ozempic and Wegovy जो medicines आ रही हैं, जो medicines से they are good start off. ऐसा नहीं है कि they are bad. अगर आदमी खुद से अपनी डाइट कंट्रोल नहीं कर पा रहा है और उसको ओबेसिटी की प्रॉब्लम्स हो रही हैं, तो इट्स ए वेरी गुड वे टू हेल्प यू इन स्टार्टिंग ऑफ अ लाइफस्टाइल चेंज. आपकी डाइट कम हो जाएगी, आपका इंटेक कम हो जाएगा, पर देन दीज आर नॉट परमानेंट. डोंट टेक दिस मेडिसिन्स एज ए परमानेंट सॉल्यूशन. यूज दिस मेडिसिन एज ए स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट. तो आपने स्टार्ट कर लिया, आपने ओजेम्पिक ले ली, वेगोवी ले ली, मंजोरो ले लिया और आपको शुरू में आपको एक पुश मिल गया. आफ्टर सम मंथ्स go on lifestyle because these medicines ultimately will cause harm. They will cause muscle loss, and when they cause muscle loss, in the long run you are going to have more problems. So if you do not exercise and take these medicines, after 5, 10, 15 years you are going to have more problems.
Sir, extra virgin olive oil और simple में क्या difference है sir?
Extra virgin is it is more less refined, less processed. जितना less processed होता है उतना अच्छा होता है. ऑक्सीडेशन का रिस्क कम हो जाता है. जितना चीज रॉ लेते हो, जितना चीज रॉ लोगे ना, उसमें ऑक्सीडेशन का प्रोसेस कम हो जाता है.
वो तो सैलेड्स में यही डालते हैं.
हाँ, that is better. The best, one of the best way of eating olive oil is using extra virgin olive oil on salads because there is hardly any oxidized oil, and this MUFA is one of the best oils available because there is less risk of oxidation. तो उसके साइड इफेक्ट कम होते हैं, पॉजिटिव इफेक्ट्स ज्यादा पड़ते हैं.
Dr. Sethi, I have one question. Like many a times is it yogurt with protein powder and nuts and fruits a good option for breakfast
So
after a
fruits is
workout?
not a good option for breakfast for people who are having borderline insulin resistance. because fruits ultimately contain fructose, and fructose is going to cause issues in the body if your body is not insulin sensitive. So, and those people who are on the metabolics, and most of us are, 90% of my patients are having metabolic syndrome in one way or the other. I would avoid people taking fruits in breakfast. I would ask them to better take during lunch and dinner. Morning carbohydrates are not so good for the body. Morning protein is the best breakfast. Nuts is one of the best breakfast. Sprouts is a good, very good breakfast. Those who eat eggs are good. Milk is good. Dahi is good. All these are good breakfasts.
तो
And what about
oatmeal
these granulars they
में
add,
भी फ्रूट
fill of
डलता है तो वो
granulars and
मॉर्निंग
all?
में नहीं डालना चाहिए क्या सर?
क्या नहीं डालना चाहिए?
ओटमील स्मूदीज जो सुबह
नहीं,
लेते हैं ना
नहीं,
पावर
oatmeals
शॉट.
are not good breakfast. Oatmeal, cereals, cornflakes are not good breakfast.
ओके सर, थैंक यू
Breakfast should
सर.
be basically proteins.
ओके.
Yeah, that's a
And
good
all these
answer. I
proteins
really liked
contain
it very much.
the proteins actually जो हम breakfast खाते हैं, जैसे आपने groundnuts खाया कि आपने peanuts के dry, उसमें carbohydrate तो होते ही हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है कि they are pure proteins. They all contain fats, they contain carbs, but they get good amount of proteins. So eat things which have contain good amount of proteins rather than things which contain good amount of carbs.
Okay,
So
sir.
sprouts is a good option, I think, in the
Very
morning.
good option. One of the best option of breakfast.
Yeah, thank you.
सर स्प्राउट्स में भी तड़का के लिए बोलते हैं कि
हाँ, कोई बात
फंगस.
नहीं. You can use तड़का. There's no harm. If you want to make it palatable and you feel that it requires तड़का, उसको उबाल भी सकते हो. अगर आपको डाइजेशन में मुश्किल होती है, take a whistle also. Cooperation cooking is good.
नहीं, रेडीमेड जो मिलता है ना तो हाइजीन के हिसाब से उसको.
You can always take तड़का. You can always cook them. There's no harm. It makes them
Okay.
more easily to digest.
Yeah.
Right. The best option is taking it without salt also. It's very good and raw. It has very good effect.
Very individual preference. So
Yeah.
I won't say it's. You can not make it generalized individually.
Just one thing about millets, Dr. Ashish. There was a talk that it should be immersed for how many hours and this and that. But there is this podri, वो तो it can be made direct also. It need not be.
ऐसा नहीं है. It is very individualized.
Yes,
If you
I
feel that your
understand.
millets are going to cause very individualized. Don't be.
Yes.
It's not a diffuse
Exactly.
statement. But millets
Yes.
are good any day, better
Any
than
day.
wheat and rice.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice, Dr. Ashish. Very nice.
Very nice, Dr.
But
Ashish.
जितने
Can you
myths
give
और
the phone number?
Sir, what about protein bars which are very rampantly available and
देखो,
people are
protein
eating
bars
right and
contain
left?
lot of maltodextrin, lot of sugar. So you have to be very careful if you eat proteins and you are taking glucose. Because all these protein powders made by medical companies, they contain sucrose, glucose. So I don't think you should be taking those. If
तो
you
घर
want to
पे जो
take
बनाते हैं
your
उसमें डेट्स वगैरह डाल सकते हैं ना.
डेट्स आप यूज कर सकते हो. डेट्स किसी भी चीज में नेचुरल फॉर्म ऑफ शुगर, पर मॉर्निंग में मत यूज करिए. ब्रेकफास्ट टाइम शुड नॉट बी कार्बोहाइड्रेट टाइम. ब्रेकफास्ट टाइम शुड बी प्रोटीन टाइम.
आते हैं ना इसलिए पूछ.
हाँ, अगर आप
जिमिंग के बाद
एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हैं, हाँ कर सकते हैं. अगर आप अच्छी तरह एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हैं, देखो कार्बोहाइड्रेट खाने में या रिफाइंड शुगर खाने में या ये मीठी चीजें खाने में, अगर इफ यू आर एक्सरसाइजिंग, देन देयर लॉट ऑफ लीवे. यू कैन टेक ए लीवे. दिस इज नॉट लाइक दिस हार्ड एंड फास्ट. इट ऑल डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ मच एक्सरसाइज यू आर पुटिंग इन.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, Binal, it was wonderful webinar.
Sir, tell me about your exercise schedule, please.
Basically, for any person, it ideally should be doing around 4-5 days of endurance exercise a week. That is around 1 hour of walking or 1 hour of running or cycling or swimming, whatever is, to at least 2 से 3 घंटे आप हफ्ते में endurance करिए. पर strength training very important. At least 1 hour to 2 hours of strength training per week is very important. 1 hour is good. If you can do 20 minutes to 30 minutes every third or second day, that will help in building muscles. Because as we grow older, we are going to have muscle loss. और muscle loss होता है तो insulin resistance हो जाता है, hyperglycemia, bones weak हो जाते हैं, और females में तो especially when you have estrogen loss, then वो issue बढ़ जाता है. So you should be exercising, you should be building muscles. Muscles are the organ of old age. Okay, so as you grow old, don't neglect your muscles. Do strength training exercises. So you should always be doing exercise 6 days a week, 4 days of endurance, 2 days of strength.
Okay.
But if you
And
do
what about
strength
Pilates
training,
and yoga?
No, yoga is a form of mixture of many things. So if you are sure that your yoga is not only stretching, देखो योगा contains a combination of stretching. जैसे आपने सूर्य नमस्कार किया, आप सूर्य नमस्कार में stretching भी आता है, strength भी आता है, endurance भी आता है, endurance भी आता है. If you do 100 सूर्य नमस्कार fast, then सब कुछ आ जाता है. तो you should always try. तो it's not like एक ये exercise endurance है और ये exercise strength है, ऐसा नहीं है. Yoga is a good exercise. It's a mixture of everything. पर खाली एक ही type का आप योगा करते रहो, then it may not benefit. So you should be
And
sure
swimming?
that you are doing. Swimming is a very good endurance exercise. So you can do
For
swimming.
old age.
Old age में advantage इसलिए होता है because it doesn't cause any bone problems.
Joint.
But still, if you have strength training, then it is very important.
रेजिस्टेंस बैंड्स ठीक है सर, डंबल्स के अलावा?
Very good. Dumbbells, resistance bands, stretch bands. All these are the things which I use regularly myself.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Dr. Ashish. It was an amazing interaction, and I'm really amazed that audience is hooked to you till the end, and they have a lot of queries. And thank you so much. It is really an eye-opener session. There was a lot of clarity which we got from the confusion, and we'll like to have you again. Yeah, Dr. Jayesh sir is there. Sir, would you like to comment?
Ashish, can I make a passing comment?
You can listen.
Number one, there is something called a genetic molding of individual disease. So let not the audience get this impression that some of the things we can take care of, the environment, the lifestyle. But there are certain things like HDL and LDL, there's a lot of genetic molding. Number two, what you said is absolutely right. Any age, resistance training is an absolute must. There is no choice, second choice for that. Number three, your diet definitely matters and your sleep definitely matters. If you can take care of these four things, you are good to go. But genetic, you cannot change much. So thank you. It was a very nice talk by you, Ashish. Very nice. Very, very motivational. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jayesh sir, and thank you, everybody.
Sir, phone number.
You can write your phone number in the chat and even the name of your.
You can talk to Dr. Ashish manager.
Yeah. Ashish sir, you can write in the chat, and we have the recording of this session. Thank you, Walter Bushnell, for the recording. So we'll share it in all the groups, and we'll also put it on the IMS website and the YouTube channel. And we would like to have an amazing speaker like Dr. Ashish one more time in our IMS Wellness Weekends. So thank you so much for a lovely interaction. Ashish sir, please write your number in the chat box. Yeah, okay, thank you. Everybody can note, Dr. Ashish has written his number in the chat box. Thank you, Bhagalpur and Kolkata societies for interaction, amazing interaction. Thank you, Anita ma'am.